Hi, good evening, and a very warm welcome to all the participants in today's webinar. We will wait for a couple of minutes to allow everyone to join in and settle down, and then we'll get started with today's discussion. As always, we are not going to just wait. We are going to use this time firstly to understand how we are going to conduct this webinar. And because this is something very different. This is not an educational webinar. This is about a program that we are running, which is the GlobalLinker Growth Partner Program. So I'm going to talk to you about that program and how you can become part of it, how this program is going to help you. We are going to discuss all that. So before we get into the discussion, let me quickly check on the live stream and see if it is working fine because we have many of our friends joining on YouTube and GlobalLinker. So just let's quickly check if it is working fine there. So I will quickly check on the live stream and it is working fine. So wonderful. Let me just move the preview to the other monitor. Perfect. So before I start presenting my screen and we move ahead, I would want to share a quick note on how we are going to interact in today's session because unlike a Zoom meeting where you had the flexibility of just unmuting yourself and asking the question, that flexibility or that option does not exist. So how are you going to ask your question or how are we going to interact? It is not going to be a monologue wherein I'm just talking and you are all listening because otherwise after 5 minutes it will become very boring and many of you may get disengaged or may start feeling sleepy. So I don't want that to happen. So for that, we are going to use two tools. One is chat, which we are going to use extensively for our interaction from time to time. I would like to seek your inputs and your understanding, your observations, etc. So for that, we are going to use the chat option. The second feature that we are going to use is Q&A, and which is more for asking questions. So if there's anything which I have not been able to clarify or there's something which you would want to discuss or understand other than what we are discussing here in the webinar, you can add that in the Q&A. And towards the end of the session, we'll break into the question answer round and we will discuss those questions. All right. So that's how we are going to go through today's session. All right. So I can still see there are many of the friends who are just joining us. So, good evening and a very warm welcome to you as well. Now, before I start sharing the screen and we move ahead, let me give a quick introduction about myself. My name is Adnan. I'm Director Digital Commerce at GlobalLinker. I have about 20 years of experience in digital and technology. At GlobalLinker, there are two wonderful roles that I play. One is of a product head, wherein I head the digital commerce related products, the website builder platform, marketplaces, etc. The second role is of a public speaker and trainer, wherein I conduct a lot of webinars, workshops, etc. So today's is not a workshop or a training session. Today's session is about a growth partner program that we have. So I'm going to talk to you about that or explain that in detail. So that's why we are here. Now, I think I should start presenting the screen. We are already at 4:05. So let's begin. Let's get started. And in next few seconds, you should start seeing my screen. But before I do that, let me also move the chat window because we'll be using that. I will need that. So let me do that. And for everyone's reference, I'll say hi in the chat. So this is something that we are going to use. The second is Q&A. So I'll also move that Q&A to the monitor, other monitor. And if you ever find me looking to the side, I'm just looking into the other monitor. I keep peeking into it. So if there's a comment or point in the chat, or if there's a question which I can answer, I do that or I try to do that. Let's move ahead. So now I'm going to start presenting my screen and we will move ahead. So in next few seconds, you should be seeing my screen. All right, so I've started presenting my screen. I'll appreciate if anyone from the audience can confirm that you are able to see the screen. Although I should be able to check that on the other monitor where I have the live stream open, but it is always better because sometime it happens that even on the live stream preview, I can see that the screen share is working, but it may be blurry or you may not be able to see it. So just in the chat type yes, and I will know that you're able to see my screen. So anyone from the audience can do that. Just type yes in the chat. All right. So thank you, Prerna ji, for confirming that you all can see my screen. Wonderful. Now, before I start talking about the GlobalLinker Growth Partner Program, I would want to ask you a question. And the question is, how many of you would want to have a additional income stream? Again, you can respond yes in the chat if you are interested. If you are interested in that, and that's also an income stream which does not require you to spend a lot of time or do a lot of hard work, and it is something which you will also be able to contribute to the local business economy. So if you are interested in having a additional income stream, then again you can type yes. All right, so I have a lot of yeses coming in the chat. So thank you everyone for confirming that. Now let's move ahead and let's try to understand about the GlobalLinker Growth Partner Program. This is where I will spend few seconds only because this is something which we are all familiar with. So I would not want to take your time. Otherwise, it will start looking very or sounding very boring. So we are all familiar with digital, and digital is the way forward. So any business, whether domestic or international, has to become digital. There are umpteen number of reasons for that, especially the change in the customer buying behavior. The modern customer is preferring to shop online, whether it is B2B, B2C, or the next generation, the Gen Z and the Gen Alpha that is coming. They are all digital driven generations. And for them, anything that does not exist digital does not exist at all. So any business, irrespective whether they are working locally or they are working nationally or they are working internationally, and each and every one of them have to become digital. And especially with AI coming in, wherein AI will not just be finding suppliers or finding places from where you can source what you are wanting to source or source the products or services. AI will also start evaluating them, recommending them. And for that, if you don't exist digitally, it is absolutely no chance that AI is going to know about you, or AI is going to recommend or mention anything about you. Right? So it is understood that every business has to become digital. Now, how many businesses around you you may be knowing that does not have a very strong digital presence? Some of them or many of them may not have any presence whatsoever. And even if they have created something, it may be very rudimentary, which is not benefiting them, right? So those kind of scenarios we are all very familiar with, right? So that's where we have built the entire solution, the entire ecosystem. And using that ecosystem, you can help those businesses. At the same time, you can generate revenue or income for yourself. Let's understand how that happens. So you will join as a GlobalLinker growth partner, right? That's the onboarding step. Now, once you get onboarded, we will guide and train you. We'll guide you how the deliverables work, what is the process, and what are the platform features, what are the frequently asked questions. We'll provide you all the material and we will guide you. Now, once that is done, then you will identify the friendlies or people who are familiar with you, you have acquaintance with them. So it is slightly easier for you to break the ice and start a conversation with them. Now, in the initial first 5 cases with all of you, I will personally join that meeting. Obviously, virtually, I will be able to join, but I will personally join that meeting and I will present the solutions. All you have to do is to identify those 5 prospects and schedule meeting with them. In those meeting, I will join and I'll walk you through. So it will give you confidence how you have to explain the solution, how you have to handle the queries or question, or how you have to handle the objections. And once that is done, the client makes the purchase. And after that, the execution starts and then you get the commission, right? So that's the entire scalability model: identify, refer, set up, and earn. So that's how this entire process works. But there is a highlight to it which I would like to share with you, that this is not a one-time revenue. For example, you brought in a client and he has made the purchase, so it's not a one-time revenue that you are earning. You will be earning for sure, but it is a recurring revenue. So next year, when they purchase something or they continue with the subscription, you'll get a commission. Again, next year, you get a commission, right? So you are building a income stream which will continue to serve you, or which will continue to come to you as long as those clients are using the GlobalLinker solution. As long as they are part of the GlobalLinker's ecosystem, you will continue to earn. So that is how you will be able to build a recurring revenue stream for yourself, not just one time, but a regular one, right? So you don't have to dig the well every day. If you have done the effort initially and added a good number of clients, then every year you'll be able to earn a handsome amount of revenue because of the client base that you have brought in. All right. So let's go to the revenue part. So what we are offering is a 20% commission. As I mentioned, initially I will be helping you in closing those cases, but going forward, you'll have to identify the clients and close the cases. Once you are closing the cases and the projects are getting executed, then you will get your revenue. Very commonly, people ask me this question, that will when will the commission be paid? So we follow a monthly cycle. So every month, the first week of next month, so for example, March. So in the first week of April, you will get the revenue for all the cases that you have brought in and that are closed. Now, generally, we release the commissions after the project has been completed, because during the execution period, there can be a scenario that the client can back out, and in that case, obviously, the refund has to be done. So that's why, was the client when the project has been completed, that's where we release the commission, but it is 20%. Now, just to give you a clarity in terms of the income potential. So this where again I've been very conservative with the numbers, but if you look here, a conservative number, businesses brought in per month, 5 is something that anyone and everyone can do that very, very easily. You'll be able to achieve this kind of number. Now, 5 would mean 25,000 per client, which would earn you monthly income of 25,000 and a annual income of 3 lakh rupees. This is just for the first year. Second year, they renew for the yearly subscription, and again 20% of 5,000 you will receive, so some around 1,000 rupees. Now, if you have every month brought in 5 client, so 60 clients, so 60,000 rupees you will earn in the second year without doing anything, just because you have previously brought in the client. Now, imagine if you keep going through that cycle and you have 100, 200 clients with you, you will be earning a handsome amount of money just by the virtue of the fact that you have brought in the client. So that's the power of this model. So now if you are someone who's going to actively work on it, and that's where you double the number from 5 to 10, that's where again you will be earning somewhere around 50,000 rupees per month and 6 lakh rupees per annum. Now you can keep doubling these number or increasing these number, and you can uh, relate to it that sky is the limit you can reach. Now, here the beauty of this solution, and this is where many of you who had been in this kind of construct wherein they have acted as a freelancer or as a affiliate partner, you would know that the biggest pain point has been where you get involved into the execution of it. So you brought in a client, and that's where then you are coordinating with the developers, you're coordinating with the designers, and you're coordinating with the client. Nothing of that sort has to be done with us. What happens the moment you have brought in the client, we take the ownership. And that's why we have created the entire package in such a manner that there is no confusion whatsoever. It is straightforward execution that happens end to end. And then once the project gets over, you get your income, you get your revenue. And this were just to clarify what is your role and what is our role as GlobalLinker. So you build relationships, you must all be having already having such relationships. You identify the businesses, and that's where initially I would recommend for at least the five first cases, go for people who are familiar with you, and then later you can go or approach people who are not familiar, because obviously there will be some breaking of ice that would be required. They may have their own questions and apprehensions. So initially you can start with friendlies, and then you can move ahead as you become more confident. Obviously, initially you are also be having apprehensions, and that's why I suggested that I am open to join any one of you to discuss and answer client's question. Now you have to educate and guide the owners, and that's where we will provide you firstly with the training that how you have to approach the clients, what is the message or the communication that you have to say. We will provide you with the brochures, we'll provide you with the presentation, we'll provide you detailed answer for the questions, FAQs, etc. We'll provide you everything. In fact, we will do a mock interview or a mock meeting as well, wherein you will become the client and I will become this the growth partner, and I will answer your questions, or we'll do that mock sales meeting as well, so that you are absolutely confident. And for the first 5 meetings, I will be there to help and answer the client's question, right? So that's how you will be able to build the confidence, and then the client is onboarded. Now, GlobalLinker is responsible for the platform tech infrastructure, AI discoverable website setup, marketplace listings, integration, ongoing training, support, etc. So everything, once the client gets onboarded, everything else is handled or managed by GlobalLinker, right? So you don't have to get involved into it unless there's a request from your client that, okay, you have brought me in, why don't you also stay in the meetings? Only in those kind of exceptional scenarios you may be required. Otherwise, you can work on bringing the other client, and we'll take care of the operational execution part of it, right? So that's the system, or that's the beauty of the system. Now, a question which gets quite frequently asked, that is that program more suitable for people who are into the software development space or in the digital marketing space? My honest answer is that it is for everyone, because in today's day and age, all of us have understood this hard lesson during the COVID period, that more than one income stream is required, and this is a income stream that can easily be scaled, and this is a recurring income scheme which will give you a lot of cushion for the future as well. So this is something which is there for everyone, and almost all of us, whether we are into exports, or whether we are into manufacturing, or whether we are into trading, or even service consultancy, all of us know or have a network we can leverage that network. In addition to offering our core services or core offering, we can also offer this and get benefit from it, get income from it, or generate income from it. So this is for everyone, irrespective who you are. You can join and become a GlobalLinker growth partner. All right. Now, in addition to obviously generating income for yourself and creating a recurring income stream for yourself, you are also helping the digital growth journey, especially in the tier two, tier three cities where the internet penetration or internet penetration actually is everywhere, but the digitization of the local businesses is not there. So you'll be helping them out and giving the international exposure. So just to give you an example, there are many cities or places in India where local products are manufactured and very nice and high quality products are manufactured. But unfortunately, because of lack of technical know-how or lack of knowledge or other factors, they don't have any sort of digital presence. And because of that, they are invisible on the internet despite having wonderful products and wonderful offering and amazing pricing. And that's where, if you are helping those out, you are not just creating something for yourself, you are also going to contribute to the growth of local businesses which are otherwise not able to grow. Now, this is something which I've already mentioned, but I wanted to share it explicitly as well, that as a individual, if I was in your place, I will also have the same apprehension that okay, Adnan is a technology expert, so obviously he can say that. But if I'm meeting people locally, there's a lot at stake. My reputation is also at stake. Now, what if something goes wrong? What if those kind of things happen? So obviously you can check Global Linker's credential. We are an organization that excels in our customer support and client handling. So certainly you can uh, trust us, and you can be absolutely sure that the clients that you are bringing in will be served in the best possible manner. And we are always there to help. So wherever you are getting stuck, so it is not like after the initial 5 meetings, if you are getting stuck, or if there's a large client or important client that you are bringing in and that's where you need help, we will be more than happy to join and help and guide you. At the same time, if any of your client that you have brought in has some issues, they want to get some changes done, or they want to understand about something, or there's a technical issue that they are facing, we always have a support team available that will be more than happy to help and support them. In fact, we have a full-fledged help desk that can take all their queries and support and provide the right responses to them at the earliest, right? So all the support infrastructure which is required, whether it is in form of a help desk or whether it is in form of a technical support team, or whether it is in form of business team, which is always available to join you and answer the questions that your clients may have. All that infrastructure is readily available. It is just up to you to start initiating the meeting. So this is the process, although I've already spoken about it. So I've just added it once again so that I can walk you through. So as a growth partner, the first step is to register, and I will share with you an agreement, and using that you can all register. And second is introductory call. So this is where we will do the introductory call and screening. So once you have expressed your interest for registration, that's where we'll schedule those introductory call. We'll understand about you, and then we will also guide you about the onboarding process in case you have any questions, etc. We'll answer those, and then you will get onboarded. So onboarding is where we will be training you and we'll be providing you the support material and having that mock sales meeting, etc. We'll be doing all that, and then you will refer. So refer basically means you'll be bringing in the clients, and the first 5 months we'll do them jointly, and then you will start earning, right? So this is from registering to earning. That's how the entire process is going to work. So this is something which I've already talked about. So it's a repeatable growth engine. And once, trust me, once you have closed your first case is going to be little difficult and little exciting as well. But once you have closed your first case, it is something that you'll be able to replicate very, 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 very easily and very smoothly across, and you will be able to build a everlasting revenue stream for yourself. So this is where we will break into the question answer round. So I'll stop the screen share, and if you have any questions, you can let me know. So any question from any of the participant? And if there are no questions, then my question to you is, you have understood about the GlobalLinker Growth Partner Program. So if you are interested, you can let me know, and we can then initiate the registration process or the onboarding process. You can just reply interested or yes in the chat, and we'll initiate the growth partner onboarding process, wherein our team will reach out to you. They will schedule meetings with you, and they'll schedule the initial onboarding meeting, and then we'll move ahead. There's one question, and that is from Mr. Srinath. And the question is this business for export opportunity? So, Mr. Srinath, this is where you are becoming a growth partner. You are becoming a affiliate with us, right? So, similar to how insurance companies work, so they have these insurance agents. So, similar to that, you are becoming one of the agents or one of the affiliates partners with us, wherein you will be offering our website development services to the people that you are familiar with, or in and around your establishment in your location. And when those businesses get onboarded, you earn revenue. And similar to the insurance model, when you bring in the client, that's where you get 20%, and recurring as long as they are with GlobalLinker, you will continue to earn 20% commission on it, right? So for the first year, the price is 24,999, 25,000. So that's where per client you'll be earning 5,000. And for the renewals, which are around 5,000, so that's where you'll be earning around 1,000 rupees per client. So it will continue as long as the clients are in the GlobalLinker ecosystem. All right. So next question is from Somaditya, and the question is, what is the scope for customers and how much they have to, need to pay monthly? So, Somaditya, we don't have a monthly payment model. We have a annual payment model for the first year, because it includes the website development service also. The price is 24,999, and from the second year onwards, they just have to pay 5,000. In fact, I should show you. Allow me to start sharing my screen. This will help clarify the doubts as well. So just allow me to start presenting the screen. All right. So I've started sharing my screen once again. I'm not sure if it has started showing or not. So this is the done for me B2B website setup service that you have to offer to your clients or your customers, your acquaintances, etc., whosoever wants to get a AI understandable website made, right? So that's the highlight for this service, because there are businesses who want a website. They don't have a website, they want a website, right? So that's one audience. Even the people who have website, who have existing websites, they are not AI understandable, because traditionally when websites were built, they were not built with a perspective or a objective that it has to be understandable by AI. AI is a relatively newer phenomena, and that's why a lot of traditional websites which are there, which are 2 years or more old, they are not AI understandable, and all those businesses have to become AI understandable. And that's where this service highlights, because this is entirely focused around making a business AI understandable. So the entire content, etc. So let me just scroll down and show to you the deliverables. So we start with the product, because in today's time, the search is for the product. No one is searching for a supplier for this and supplier for that. They are searching for the product. So if they're wanting to import, let's say, black pepper, they are searching for black pepper. They are not searching for a supplier, right? And whosoever has that product, and whosoever has that product in the most detailed manner, obviously gets recommended. So that's where the first focus is around the product, wherein we will add optimized content for each and every product. So we understand which products they are dealing in, we get the information from the client, and then we upload those products. Then we have the second part, in which is something essentially required for AI understandability, and that is the business information pages. So here we create at least 5 business information pages so that AI can easily understand or properly understand about what this business is, what they do, and why should they be trusted. So all those pages are created, and all the content is created by us. So client is not required to provide that. Whatever input they can provide, they can provide. And obviously the basic information is required from them, but rest of the content is created by us. The next front is the on-page SEO, or the basic SEO setup. That's where firstly we do meta update on all the pages. Then we research and understand what are the questions that are being asked for the products of this client. And for answer engine optimization, which is AEO, we create 5 to 7 blog articles. Again, depending on the research, if we feel that more blog articles are required, so we'll create more as well. And then lastly, we integrate the new website that we will be building on our platform with Google Search Console so that it gets properly indexed. Then, with regards to design, we have a theme based model wherein our team will help the client in choosing a suitable theme. And then, once the theme is chosen, our design team will create the banners and do the required color customization. Next is the profile. So, every business on GlobalLinker has a business profile, which is required, or which has an important role in two things. One is it appears on Google search. Obviously, it has a SEO impact. Second is whenever a customer is seeing the product from a particular exporter or supplier, they tend to go to and review their profile. So here, imagine that you are a buyer and you are looking for turmeric fingers. Now you will be tempted to, before clicking on send inquiry, you will not randomly click there. You would want to understand like who this business is, and that's where you will click here. You'll find more details and you will go to their profile. So most of the buyers, before clicking on send inquiry and reaching out to the supplier, they go to the customer profile. So that's where it is important that it is also properly set up. So we do that, we optimize it. Next is listing on marketplaces. So that's where we have two B2B marketplaces. One is Indian Business Portal, which we have created in collaboration with FIEO, which is Federation of Indian Export Organization. And this is where Indian exporters showcase their products and international buyers do business with them. The next marketplace that we have created is the GlobalLinker Marketplace, which is a cross-border B2B sourcing platform. So this is where domestic as well as international sourcing happens. So we also list our clients' products there for sellers who are into online selling, who are into B2C. We also list their products on ONDC, Open Network for Digital Commerce, which is a Government of India's initiative to democratize Indian e-commerce. So we also list their products there. Next is training and support, because the platform that we have created, and I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with that, but the platform that we have created is a no code platform, because the traditional or the conventional solutions which existed back then, and even most of the solution even today, are something which requires a technical knowledge and know-how. And because of that, when people or businesses have got the website created, if they wanted to change even small things, they have to go back to the developer, and all those nuances used to happen. So the first thing that we did is create a solution which can be used by anyone and everyone. So if you can do a copy paste, or if you can uh, type, then you can manage the entire website, right? So there's nothing technical, but despite the fact that it is very easy to use and understand, familiarization is required, and that's what we do. So we do dedicated training sessions with the client and their team to familiarize them with how the entire website management happens, and then going forward they can confidently move ahead. We follow a project manager model wherein one person from our team becomes a project manager, and then that person oversees the entire execution. So the client does not have to coordinate with 10 different people at any given point in time. If that client needs any clarification or answers, they can simply go to that person, and that person will help them out, right? So that's how the entire execution works. I'll also show you a few examples, and then we will go to the commercials part. Right, so I'm going to switch my tab, and just very quickly I'll take you to a few examples. Let's go to the home screen. Right. So this is a business which is a 100-year-old business which is into essential oils, perfumes, others, etc. They are based out of a historical city called Kannauj, and historically, this city has been popular for this particular trade, which is perfumery. So this business did had a website prior to this, but it was a very basic website with few pages, etc., and was not giving any benefit to this business. Forget about AI discoverability. So we upgraded to this. Now this is where, because I had been walking you through the deliverables, let me show you what kind of work we actually do. So firstly is the business information part. This is where you'll see there are almost 8-9 pages that are created. Now, all these pages are created based on a research. So it is not like if we have created these many pages here, we will be replicating them to the next website. No, it is different for each and every website. So here they are into agro and dehydrated products. So you can see the pages are different. And let's go to something which is very different. So they are into supplements for poultry and dairy animals. So this is where you can see. So it varies from industry to industry. So it is not like a copy paste that is happening. It is based on the research and understanding of the product. So those business information pages are created. So if AI comes and it wants to understand who this business is, and what do they do, and why should they be trusted, all the answers are here. So there are information about quality and certifications. There are information about uh, lab testing, etc., how they are sourcing, how they are doing the procurement, testimonials, case studies, everything is available, which AI would need to understand about this business. Now, with the product part, as I mentioned, product is the heart and soul of AI discoverability, or the modern discoverability. So that's where we go all out when it comes to the content enhancement. We don't leave anything. So that's where we start with the product title. That's where, again, you'll see most of the website, it is generally just the product name. But here, intent is also important, because AI has to understand like what is the intent, because this as a product has numerous uses and intention. So that's where it is available for wholesale, private labeling, importers, etc. We do all that. And then coming down below here, this is where you'll see the entire product content is also written with the perspective that it will help with the search engine optimization and AI optimization or AI understandability, because you may have heard that AI does not like long paragraphs. It needs bullet points, it needs FAQs, question answer. So we do all that. We do all that with the product content so that the AI can understand, and it helps with the search engine optimization as well. Now, with regards to the answer engine optimization and also creating or improving the authority of this business, we research and identify what are the important questions being asked related to this business, and then we create blog articles around that. Right? So that's how the entire delivery happens. This is one example. There are many, many examples. This is a business which is into dehydrated fruits. We have already seen this one. The next one is okay. So as I was mentioning that FAQs is something which is generally liked by AI. So whenever we see there's a need, we also create a page around FAQ. So this is a page which basically captures most of the important questions that are there related to that business. So we cover that. There's another business which is into agro product exports. This is a organic product exporter. Sorry, let's go back. This is a business which is into manufacturing and export of bags. This is a business which is into the paper bags, which are generally used in shopping malls and shopping centers. This is a business which is into fashion. This is a business which is into spices and dry powder, dehydrated fruits, etc. Right? So the different businesses, there's a business from entirely different spectrum. They are into these kind of machineries, and there's a business which is into engineering products, and then we have business which is into hospital supplies. Right? So there are many, many different walks of life. In fact, as part of the onboarding journey, we will also give you examples which you can show to your clients. All right, now let's come back to the pricing part. How is the pricing done? So the current price, and this is a offer price in case it changes, so it most probably will go up. But the offer price for this service is 24,999, which is 25,000 for the first year. There is no monthly subscription. This is for the first year, right? Now, a common question that often gets asked is what else do the business has to invest on or spend on other than this 24,000? Nothing other than domain registration or renewal. Right? So most of the businesses have their own domain, abc.in, abc.co.in, right? So like that. So that's the only expense, and generally it is around few hundred rupees to 1,000 rupees or 1,100, 1,200 rupees. So around that they have to invest for the domain. And now why is it excluded? Because that's an intellectual property and we don't want to get into that. So that's where it is always better that because domain being the intellectual property, the business should have the ownership of that. That's why it is the only thing which is excluded. So that's where you have to just look at domain purchase and renewal. Other than this 25,000 and nothing else you is required, hosting, tech support, whatever it is, platform subscription, it is all included for the first year. Now, from the second year onwards, what is the price they have to pay? So from the second year onwards, they have to pay 5,000, 4,999. Again, this is the only amount they have to pay. The only extra is domain registration and renewal. Nothing else. From the second year, obviously, it is renewal, not registration. So domain renewal plus 5,000, that's the annual expense that they have to do, nothing else. So that's how we have kept the pricing model so tight that it becomes affordable for MSMEs as well. And I know I'm from this industry and I've spent 20 years in this industry at various positions and various levels. So I understand what kind of pricing prevails in the market. And this is one of the most economical pricing that any business can get with regards to the website and the kind of work that we do. So I hope this answers that question, although I have answered it with a long response, but hope it gives you the right clarity which you were seeking. So I hope, Somaditya, now you have the answer for your question. All right. So the next question is, anonymous attendee, will there be a primary revenue stream for growth partners such as SaaS? Yes, this is a SaaS based service only. And So, in case you are wondering, this is where, firstly, your question is not very clear, but in case, and this is where I'm answering the question of anonymous attendee. So, the question was, will there be primary revenue stream for growth partners? Right. So, most of our growth partner, existing growth partner, already had some business that they had been working on. So obviously that becomes a secondary revenue stream. However, if you want to make this as your primary revenue stream, you are more than welcome to do that. So if you want to learn everything and start offering the solution independently, or you want to start offering additional services independently, yes, you can do that. So there are growth partners who also offer monthly maintenance services. So you are open to do that. Will not stop you from doing that. So for example, every month certain number of products are to be uploaded, or a certain banner changes or blog posts have to be done. So they offer those services to the clients that they have brought in, but that is between them and the client. We don't get involved into it. We are offering the website setup service, and for that we are giving the commission to our growth partners. All right. So next question again from Somaditya is, what are the service offerings? So we only have one service offering, and which is the Done for Me B2B website setup service. That's the one offering that our growth partners offer to their client and bring in the clients. Next question, which I can see in the chat, is from Mr. Srinath, and the question is, irrespective of the company turnover, the website charges remains the same. Yes, it remains the same. The charges vary depending on the effort that is required. So, for example, as part of the service, we do 100 products. But for example, if there's a client who has a catalog of few thousand products, in that case, we'll do an effort estimation, and the charges will be different. So, if they required something in addition to what is there as a standard deliverable, then the pricing changes. Otherwise, it remains the same. So if the number of products is different, or they need a different number or more pages to be created, or more blog articles to be created, or they need some design customization, specific design customization, so in that case, that is done. Otherwise, it is the same pricing. Any other question from any other participant? All right, so I didn't get a response for the question which I had asked, that are you interested to explore this further? And this is where it is not mandatory. If you are interested, you will be forced to join as a growth partner. No, absolutely. You would want to understand further. So what I'm saying is, would you be interested in getting into a one-on-one meeting to discuss it in person and take it forward? All right, so I have the confirmation from Somaditya. Thank you for that. Any other participants who is interested? You can let us know, and then we'll plan to meet in person, obviously virtually, and then take this forward. Okay, Mr. Srinath has also confirmed. Perfect. Okay, Mr. Prashant has also confirmed. Thank you, Mr. Prashant. So I will try to reach out to you either today or possibly tomorrow first half, and then we'll plan accordingly. We'll try to schedule meetings, one-on-one meetings, and discuss it in person. All right. So I'm taking note of all the participants who are confirming their interest, and then we'll move ahead. Perfect. So this is where I think we should conclude this session for now. And if there are any questions, I can answer that. Otherwise, we'll conclude the session for today. So this is where I am not seeing any other questions. So this is where we'll conclude the session. Thank you. Thank you for taking your time and participating in the session. And I look forward to meeting you in person and discussing it further. Thank you. Bye-bye.